Hello, darling souls. How are you holding up? How is your ragged heart? Is it okay? We're in Leo season. It's all about the heart. Venus has just moved into Cancer. The balm that can heal our ragged hearts for a little while because she's going to be in a little bit of a tense position come later this month, right? So soak that up. We've moved out of Venus in Gemini. Look at me, I'm just going straight into this shit, right? Like, fuck, there's so much going on. Jesus, let's just like take a breath. I need to take a breath. I'm zinged up at the moment. I'm zingy. Fire. There is so much fire in the skies at the moment. Can you feel that? There's fire. The sun is happiest in the sign of Leo. The lion roar, right? Have you been roaring? I know yesterday, today's the 9th of August. Yesterday on the 8th, I had some network spinal and just the sound that was coming out, some roaring and some deep breath work and like so present in the physical, shifting so much stuff. Jeez. And look, I'm a little bit late, 9 days into August, and you're receiving my love. That's because I've been crying pretty much for 8 of those 9 days, you know. It's been huge. It's been so big that it's collectively big, but then micro, right? The individual, what's going on in your own chart? How is it affecting you? And Venus has moved into Cancer, and Venus has been in Aries for so long, for months, like 4 months. She did her retrograde there, which she only does every 8 years in Gemini. So we've gone from Venus head, yeah, in the head about love and stuff. And it was funny, 29 degrees of Gemini, and I spoke all this stuff out that I needed to say, and it's amazing. It's just like a pop. And I think that, and husband sneezing, and it was exactly that, achoo, like so that. I don't have earphones in and my family's around. You know, it's life. It's real shit. But yeah, real shit. I'm not even wearing pants. So it's a party downstairs, sophisticated on top, right? It's no pants. That's reality, right? And yeah, like, what have you learned in Venus in Gemini? The way you speak, what you expect in relationships, right? It has been very mental. And now we dip into heart. And for me, once I'd shared so much on Friday, I mean, I spent all day Friday crying. And it was so magical and potent and deep and raw, literally raw, but not angrily, I feel so empty now. And Venus in Gemini is talking, communicating. So we've had sort of this opportunity to take risks, to go there, to make decisions. Have you done that? Because we move into a very interesting last part of the year, okay? Mars, there's a lot of malefic planets, malefic energy going on. Not benefic, malefic. Mars, the planet of war, anger, aggression, but initiation, forward movement, action, self healing. We've got so much in Aries at the moment. The moon right now as we speak is like pretty much conjunct Mars, Black Moon Lilith, Chiron. So there's like feminine healing, deep, masculine healing, deep. Like it's all happening. It's like a million different lifetimes in one. Like sleep is just like, what even is that lately? Every day is a brand new lifetime. There has to be surrender. I'm still watching control even within myself, the where I control and where I can't relax. And the sun in Leo is fixed. It's a fixed fire sign. It's fucking amazing, but it's fixed. But I still feel this energy of surrender to the fire, surrender to the flames. This is rebirth. And interestingly enough, August in the liquid crystals is the crystal pearl. No grit, no pearl, right? Without the friction, without the pearl having to be scratched over and over and over again, she does not gleam. So it's little irritations, right? There is, of course, this element of beauty and femininity and mothering and nurturing when it comes to Pearl, which I think is amazing. And can't make this shit up stuff. Like, it's August. August is the month of heart. Leo is the heart. Leo rules the heart. Yeah. So if there's armor around the heart, still after the Venus Gemini stuff, this is a time. Venus is in Cancer now. Drop the armor. Drop into your heart's desires. She's ragged. She probably needs some balm, which Cancer can do for a little while, because by the end of the month, she's opposing all of that Capricorn stuff. So there can be sort of drama with the Jupiter, and restriction, intensity, making mountains out of molehills, those sorts of things. And I find when it's acting from emotion, you can run with it, and there's no groundedness, there's no stability. So at the end of the month, just be mindful of that. Yeah. Yeah, I've used the word moderation. Moderation. Venus is very happy in Cancer, and yes, she's going to soothe our hearts, especially now at the beginning. Despite the moon being in Aries, and there's all this sort of square stuff going on. So there's tensity, right? Friction. And again, how incredible that it's Pearl month. Without the friction, without that scratching, there's no pearl, there's no gleamingness. I've just said that there's purity here in the fire. I've got my normal craziness, my normal craziness of notes. Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it. Urgh. Fire, baby. Fire, alignment, burn it down, purify in the fire. That's this month. Purify in the fire. We have just got fire everywhere. Stellium in Aries, South Node in Sag, Mercury and the Sun both in Leo. So these guys are all talking to each other. Big grand fire trines, right? And there feels like there's an element of, and it was interesting, my wizard that I see, and he's like, it's the gap where you are and where you must be. And I feel like that collectively. I felt that within my own micro, but I'm feeling that in the macro too. And what's happening because of all this Mars stuff, squaring where he was just earlier this year, Mars hit those Capricorn planets in February. What went down in February? The whole fucking world. What was happening there was the prequel to what's happening now. Because now he is squaring those planets. It's like inner tension. Who are you within this? Who are you in this new space? Have you landed? And it's okay if you haven't. This is navigating new terrain. But the thing is that the holding on to the old, futile. It's literally like a ball and chain, cannot move, boulder, heavy energy that we have the choice to move through. And I think that this fire that we're in now is the purification, the transformation, the phoenix. Yes, it's not Scorpion energy, but there is something in this fire that we are diving into in August that is fucking flame on, my friends. It's that chuck the match on the bridge and no more hiding in the past, holding on to the past. I mean, Leo invites you. Who are you? Not in a group, not in a rally, but sovereign to yourself. Not being lost and distracted with all the things that are being, new age, spew age stuff. People trying to collect your energy. You're not doing well, so come and see me. It's like, no, you are the key. So, and the square energy for me with Mars and all these planets too is around looking at you, coming against your own edge. not looking outside of yourself. And I find that the Leo Aquarius polarity, and my God, that Aquarius full moon was like, it's very Uranian, very unexpected shit happening. But like, this is about facing yourself. That's what Leo invites, is sovereignty. And what we forget, I think, about Leo is courage. I always relate him to the lion off The Wizard of Oz. Bravado, but lacking courage. And to be who you really are in this world does take a lot of courage. It's not this easy thing. It's not something that you can sell in a workshop. You can't even read it in a book. There's no one else that can teach you that except for dropping the facade, slipping into your own soul. This is about authenticity. And we're in this year of the rat, and you know what I've been saying, the rats will rise, and the spiritual rats are rising and they're crumbling, right? Like, we're seeing the truth now. It's just like, bam, bam, bam. That person's down, that person's down. This isn't working anymore. The old ways no longer. And there's a lot of new age, spew age spiritual people that have been, here for a little bit, a couple of years maybe. But that stuff doesn't work anymore. We are in a whole new frequency. And to me, August is a purification of the old, where you are and where you must be. And we will be in the gap together. Now, this is micro stuff from my own personal session with my network spinal wizard, right? But it's so powerful. As soon as he said it, it just dropped for me. And I'd already thought it on my drive there. Of course, it was already in my cells. And I only seen him yesterday morning on the 8th. And already so much has shifted. There is so much clarity. And, the one thing I sort of don't have a problem with is being myself. Authenticity for me and standing in sovereignty, just, away from the pack. It's just, I've got Lilith in the first house. It's just where I've got Pluto in the first house. It's just where I've always landed. A stellium in the 8th. I've always been that. And that's why I love to share that you have that. Courage is what it takes. And let's use this fire of August. The sun in Leo comes around once a year. We don't want to dismiss that. And that's something as an astrology teacher that I love to teach. Like, I want to talk to you about where is the sun in your chart in Leo season and then in Virgo season, because it happens once a year that whole house gets lit up and on fire. And at the moment with Mars in Aries, in his happy place as well, like, these two are just like, let's move forward, let's take action. But at the same time, Mars is going to retrograde in September. Now, I have a full 2-hour Mars masterclass that it's a pre-recording. I've got a group there. If you want to go and watch it, it's $33. I can add you to the group. And then you can actually learn about Mars, where he is in your chart, where he's moving through your chart, and just a little bit more about him, because he's a very important player in this second part of 2020. And I know I'm probably going, I'm just like, there's so much. Like, I was writing for like another 30 minutes. I've had my notes written for a week to share with you, but I was too busy crying. And today I'm not. And I could have just if I wanted to just talk about every tiny little aspect that's happening in August, I mean, I'd be here for 58 years. So I want to focus on the feeling. For me, it's about the feeling and what you're embodying. And this is about walking through the fire, burning it down, the debris, burning down the debris of the old. And with Mars squaring Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, for me, it's this test. Like I said, Mars hit these guys early this year when the whole world shut down. And yes, we're having a repeat of that. But there's this element of, are you changing? Did you learn? Like, things aren't the same anymore. They're not. And there's still this element of wanting to escape. And I get it, we're human. Like, people are conditioned to just want to be the same, to stay comfortable. And we are being stretched now. This Mars is coming up against all of these planets that he hit earlier in this year. Only 6 months ago or whatever, right? To say, here's the lesson. What are you holding on to? The crumbling of the world as we know it. This is it. And it's not scary. There's nothing to fear, because when love resides, and trust and surrender, letting go of control. And if surrender looks like a week of crying, let it be a week of crying. If surrender looks like, building a new platform, build a new platform. If it looks like watching Seinfeld on Netflix, watch Seinfeld on Netflix. Gone are, these days of just this intense pressure. But slip in to yourself. Slip in to your soul. Stop the search. Call off the search and come home. And Mars squaring these guys is like, what did you learn earlier this year? And if you didn't learn, it might be quite difficult. I mean, we're feeling the collective anyway. I mean, there's bombs going off, there's explosions. I mean, the world is in disarray. And there's that energy of, do you contaminate or contribute to that by the frequency that you hold every day? And it's not about, if you're silent, you're not doing anything. No, that's bullshit. What you be is what you contribute. Not what you share, not what you fight, not, you showing yourself meditating and I'm learning about all these things. That's great. Do that, but do it for you, not for your audience. Do this for you. And that's what's becoming very clear, is that, there's this element of, I've got to share and show everyone that I care. But who are you when you're not plastering it all over socials? I'm having like 2-hour conversations with my children about the new world and changing things. And my contribution is the being, the energy, the vibration that I plug into without needing someone else's approval, without being told, oh, if you're silent, you're not doing anything. No, I'm doing a lot, but I don't need applause. And whilst Leo maybe craves some applause, a very humbled Leo doesn't. A lion does not go around telling you that he's a lion. He just is. Yeah? So the less we preach, the more is heard. There is such a stillness present. There's an energy of plug into your own resources. Do your day. Be the medicine. Take the medicine of your own soul, your own elixir, your own brew. You are your own medicine. You are the savior. And I think that it's, I think it's a Mother Teresa quote, that if you want to save the world, start at home. And that's the big thing, is that, there's just everyone wanting to go out. I'm going to save you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to read for you. Come to me. But where's the work that's been done on you? And there's a real element of, not everyone can be Oprah. Not everyone, maybe, like, I think I said that in the last vlog, not everyone wants to be Oprah, but, it doesn't have to be this loud. And we're seeing it so much. And slipping back into your own sovereignty and you being your own anchor, what happens outside then less affects you, less and less and less. Yes, there's collective tension and there's collective energy, and we, when you are open, you can have, be a bit ruffled by that, be a bit shaken, it can be a little bit spiky. But the thing is that we make our own decisions. We choose what we allow into our frequency. There's power in that. And, for me, there is so much that needs to be burnt down, whether that's micro or macro, both, you know. Um, and this energy that we have, the fire within us, what's the fire fueling you towards? What's your deepest intention? Like, go there. You know, I think that we've got so much going on, and I get lost in a world. I don't know the world that I get lost in, but I get lost in the world. Um, I want to at least share these last couple of things. Um, so I've talked about the Mars, that square. What did you learn in February? And if you haven't learnt it, you know, if you're not being faced with yourself at this time and being brave enough to do what needs to be done, it's like we know what needs to be done, what needs to be said, what action needs to be taken. But living in hope and just hoping things will either go back to normal or hoping the relationship will change or hoping the blah, blah, blah. Like, I hope, you add whatever it is. That is not suffice anymore. So with these very malefic squares coming up, intense, like warlike, very, you know, and if you're have Pluto and Libra, like my generation, so in the 70s and early 80s, you know, this, we're going to have Mars opposing. So there's a lot of, you know, there's intensity here. It can be with other people, external situations, and relationships. Mars in Aries is self, and Libra stuff is others, relationships. So any Libra planets, you know, Mars is just having his way with them. So if you're going through a lot of relationship stuff right now, I mean, you'd want to be looking at your chart and seeing what's going on so that you're aware of this, so that you can understand. So instead of succumbing to it or being angry about it, there's more of a surrender, or there's more of a deep knowing that, okay, like, I'm here to make these changes, but I must be brave and I must have courage. And there is no greater month than now to have that. Yeah. Okay. It's a little symbol there. But Uranus, you know, he is slowing down at 10 degrees. He is just about to join the retrograde party, my friends. Yeah. Uranus, the planet of awakening, revolution, chaos. He's about to start his retrograde. And so I've just sort of talked here about, I've talked about inner rebellion instead of outer, instead of fighting, turning within. Why are you rebelling? Have a look at your own resources, beliefs, ways. What are you rebelling against? So maybe it's more of an inner rebellion than an outer rebellion. Inner revolution, inner liberation. I mean, there's tectonic shifts within and without. I mean, Uranus is the lightning god. These are lightning rods of change that are happening right now. It's like a lightning rod. Pow, there you go. Pow, there you go. I mean, this is Uranus. It is directly on top of my Mars, like exactly at 10 degrees. You know, I'm talking about Uranus retrograde as being an activation of your inner genius. So, I mean, with Mars about to retrograde, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but Uranus then also being retrograde. I mean, these are two intense planets. Yeah. There's an element of activation on your, well, what do you want to birth? Okay. But then stepping away from that, not being attached to it. Because when Mars retrogrades, it might feel like you're moving forward with the brakes on. You're thinking that a project was going to take off and then it didn't. But Mars here, I mean, Uranus here for me is like this activation of your inner genius, trusting your instincts, allowing these flashes of insight to come through. Write them out. Write them out. And if there's something really suddenly, you can act on that. Yeah. I've talked about Uranus retrograde being stepping in to your independent self. And again, that really comes into, what I'm talking about with Leo energy. It's who are you within the group? Or are you so paralyzed by the group that you become the group and just agree with what everyone says without doing your own research or without trusting your intuition? For me, because I've got so many planets in Taurus and because I've got Lilith in the first house, I'm a very visceral. For me, I feel something, I know it, and you could balm off all the facts that you want to me, and it's just like, it's okay, you can believe all that, but I know something more than that. And I really feel like this Uranus in Taurus is giving everyone this opportunity to feel something. Like for me, there's like, electrical currents going through my body. It's sensational for me. It's visceral. It's like this constant death of the body and what it knows and what it's moving into. Especially if you're a Taurus, because Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. But then if you've got fixed planets as well, lots of fixed planets in your chart too, you're having some squares and oppositions there. So your life will be, doing complete 180s. If things are just changing, Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, and Aquarius, they're the 4 fixed signs, and Uranus is shaking shit up for those fixed signs in a great way. I mean, I feel like I did the best thing by being born a Taurus and having all the Taurian planets, and to have them now before I turn 40. Oh, in my 40s, I'm going to be having Uranus smack bang. Anyway, I love Uranus. Uranus is change, and I fucking love change. But then I don't, because my body still wants to hold on to shit. And that's why Uranus in Taurus for me is visceral. It's me doing my body work. It's me releasing things that are in my cells that keep me wanting things to be as they are. This is a physical upgrade, not just an energetic one. We need to move into emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and intellectual intelligence. This isn't just about, I'm floating around here. Oh, I trust that if it's meant to happen, divine. Yes, all of that stuff means something. But how do you live that every day? And what do you truly believe? Because there's a whole lot of that goes on, but not a whole lot of people believe what they're saying. They just say it. Yeah. The trend, the spiritual trend. Don't even get me started. Uranus retrograde, where do you feel restrained? Yeah. Imprisoned, inhibited. Uranus wants freedom. So you might feel that you want to break out. That's where that inner rebellion comes in too. Like, instead of turning inward, seeing where it's coming from. Yeah. Again, I've just written tear it all down, baby. And that's got to do with this sort of August burn it all down, baby stuff. Look, there is huge shifts. And yeah, this is like a very intuitive, creative time. So utilize Leo season to be creative, to jot down things. Yeah. Because it is a very rich, fertile time. It's inspiring, it's inventive. Uranus he's reveling up some stuff for us. And it's exciting, change is exciting when we're doing the other work. And for me, again, like I said, this is a time to walk a different way, to choose a new path, to burn that down, to trust. Going into the body, because Uranus is in Taurus, Taurus rules the physical body. The one sign that really rules. Mars does, Aries does too. Aries is a very physical energy. And look at Mars. He's at home in Aries at the moment. So moving, dancing, roaring, like whatever you need to do. Because at the moment, Mars is in his shadow, which means that where he is now and where he's been for a little bit is the degrees that he's going to come back to in his retrograde from mid-September through to mid-November. Did you just see something fly there? Yeah, there was something. Oh, my alchemy is just fucking off the tap now. I don't know if you guys are feeling that too, but my genius, innovative alchemy, like I'm nearly ready to just fucking produce an apple right here from thin air. I know I can do, I've actually produced something from thin air before. It was a long time ago. But I'm going to have a fucking apple here one day. Just boom, there's my apple. I reckon it's nearly forming right now. Fucking genius, right? Okay, so Mars is in his shadow, so pay attention. The shadow of a planet's retrograde gives us insight and clues to exactly what's going to come up. So how are you at the moment? Are you angry? Are you raging? Because that is going to all be revisited when he goes through his retrograde. His once every 2-year retrograde, hasn't retrograded in Aries for like 30 years and will not retrograde in his home sign of Aries for nearly 50. This is a strong signature. And like I said, if you want a 2-hour like thing on that for $33, DM me and I can add you to the group. And the group is only there until the end of August, just so you know, because I've got one of my groups that I've added so that they've got this as a part of their learning for August. We're diving deep into Mars, deep into anger, deep into suppression, deep into repression. What anger means as a woman, as a person. And not just anger, of course, like this is about action as well and the way anger is expressed. But ultimately, you know, there is an element of looking at what's coming up for you now, because Mars's shadow is giving you all the clues to what will happen. And just remember, Mars doesn't want to go retrograde. He is like, have you met an Aries? They're not moving backward, my friend. They are like, my eyes are set here and that's where I'm going and I'm not stopping. Like they don't stop. It's the swords. We've got our swords out, our Athena energy. This is about strength. This is your inner hero. This is your inner warrior coming out. So this is how we meet. And I do that probably gently. I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not a fighter. But I have the inner strength and resilience. And I have my sword. I work with her. I work with my inner Athena. But this is a time for the rest of the year that we want to be our own heroes in our own life. If you are not flawed by your own existence here, what's the point? Like you are fabulous. And this is Leo and Mars in Aries. This is self, and not in a selfish way. I mean, this is self-enlightenment, not self-absorption, right? This is knowing when to act, when to say no, when to move away, knowing your energy. How well do you know your energy? Or how tainted is it? You know, for me, it's all about vibration and clarity and cleanness. And, you know, no energy gets into my field. It's just what I've worked on for 20 years and it just doesn't happen. But the thing is that, you know, this is about you knowing you being your own hero in your own journey, instead of waiting for someone else to come and do that. And I think that this is so apt with Martian energy in Aries, which is self, warrior, battle, ready to go. And Leo, the lion, who doesn't need to tell everyone he's a lion. He just is. And people can see that. They understand that. That's sovereignty. That's authenticity. Being who you are, the greatest privilege, of course. Your purpose, you, that's it. Where there is simplicity for me is God. And just resting in that. Now, I want to just really quickly talk about the Leo new moon, which is on the 19th at 12:41 p.m. And I drew it up for Brisbane, which sees the new moon in the 9th house, which is, you know, again, it's a fire house. And 12:41 p.m. on the 19th, which is when the new moon hits, also gives a Sag ascendant. So again, there's all this like this grand fire trine. We've got Mars, Sun, Moon, Mercury, South Node, the ascendant. This new moon and sun will be in the 9th house, which is the Sag house. I literally wrote, Holy Batman. Who writes that? I do. I've got Mercury and Gemini. I'm going to write it all fucking down. Holy Batman. This is amazing. So on the 19th, for me, this is fire. For me, this is such a purifying new moon. Like, I am going to be relishing in this. You know, for me, it happens in my 11th house, you know, which is around goals and dreams and insights and ideals. Yeah. So really, you know, pull out the fire from within you. Because from now until the new moon, of course, we're in this waning energy, this purging energy, which I think is so fascinating that we're spending, the 2 weeks of, this last 2 weeks of the Leo season with a purge. And what do we do when we purge and release debris? We burn it off. The fire. The South Node in Sag. This is about letting go of grander ideas, greater pastures. The grass is greener on the other side. I need to go and find myself in Bali. No, mate. The North Node is in Gemini, and guess what that means? You will find your enlightenment in the four walls of this room right now that I'm in. I will find my enlightening lightning strikes, hello Uranus, when I'm walking when I'm in my local area. I mean, you can't make this shit up that the world's closed. The South Node is in Sagittarius. The South Node represents the past. And I've been saying this for like 6 or 8 months. I've been saying it the whole fucking year. How you just can't make this up. That this is what this South Node going, you can't get on planes. Sagittarius rules planes, foreign travel. You can't go anywhere. The North Node is your local environment. Rediscovering enlightenment within your own environment. And oh my God, there is magic, let me tell you, because it's the way I live. It's what I've been doing for 20 years. I don't run to other lands to find enlightenment. I find it in my cup of tea, in hanging my washing out, in eating vegetables, and in eating burgers, and in having deep conversations, and in crying, and in walking, and in music. It's all here. The North Node in Gemini is pointing us to the future. That's what the North Node is destiny. Yeah, fate. The South Node is what has been. We are no longer there. I mean, I think I'll talk about this every month because, I wouldn't even be considering getting on a plane for 18 months. When the nodes shift to Taurus and Scorpio, yeah, maybe then. But there is a lot of crumbling going on in a lot of countries that I am so anchored here. And it feels so great. It's not about escaping. Finding gurus, which is Sag. It's about your own. Turn to yourself. Right? Inner insight. Trust your inspiration. Trust your intuition. Uranus retrograde is going to be a fantastic time. Yeah? So enjoy the new moon. This is planting fiery seeds. This is planting and tapping into what fires you up. Not in an angry way, but again, Mars is, he's slowing down. He is going to retrograde September the 10th. So pay attention to what's coming up. Like, are you trying to push something and force something to happen? Because the pushing and the forcing is so detrimental at the moment. And I watch, it's actually a form of distraction, to be honest. What are you distracting yourself with? Because a distraction doesn't look like a distraction until it stops distracting you, until you realize that you're being distracted. You're like, oh shit, there goes 3 months. I wanted to do all these things, but I distracted myself with all of these other things. This is about facing ourselves. And that is why Mars is spending 6 months in Aries to square all of that Capricorn stuff, to go, what have you learned? Are you facing yourself? Are you telling yourself the truth? And if you're not, you're probably distracting yourself. Getting along every day like, everything's normal. My life hasn't changed. I mean, yeah, I work from home. So yes, my work life hasn't changed, but my micro energy, huge changes, huge accelerations. And if it's a week of crying, it's a week of crying, and not for any reason. Just this, it's there. We're in heart, we are in Leo season, which is the heart. So it's like, take the armor off of the heart and, allow a balm. What balms your heart? Do more of that. Leo also encourages play, creativity, like inner child, inner child stuff. There is deep healing that can happen. There is so much burning down. Oh, I love this month. I love it. I'm going to go now because it's been 40 minutes. So, sending you all the fiery, and look, I mean, I nearly took this off, and it's not, they're flowers, but there's like this element of fire and Mars and red and, you know, energy, passion. So much love. I love you all. Mwah.